He said the contact ended years ago. The documents say otherwise. Newly released Justice Department files are raising serious questions about Cabinet Secretary Howard Lutnick's past statements regarding Jeffrey Epstein. Despite earlier claims that all ties were cut after 2005, records now show communication and business connections years later, including an invitation to Epstein's private island. Today, Lutnick is facing lawmakers, defending his credibility, and answering a question that won't go away. You're watching USA Latest Update, where we bring you the facts, the documents, and the context behind today's biggest political stories. Tonight, newly released Justice Department files are reopening questions surrounding Jeffrey Epstein and a senior cabinet official's past statements. What was said publicly, what the records now show, and why lawmakers say the issue isn't crime, but credibility. Here's what we know so far. For years, Lutnick publicly maintained that he had cut off all contact with Epstein after 2005, well before Epstein pleaded guilty in 2008 to a state charge involving the solicitation of a minor and was required to register as a sex offender. However, a new review of Epstein-related files released by the Department of Justice appears to contradict that claim. According to the documents, Epstein invited Lutnick to lunch at his private Caribbean island in December 2012. In addition, CBS News reports that the two men had business dealings as recently as 2014. Epstein later died by suicide in a New York jail in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. On Tuesday morning, Lutnick addressed the issue during testimony before the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Commerce, Justice, Science, and Related Agencies. Lutnick insisted that his connection to Epstein was minimal. He told lawmakers that he met Epstein only because they once lived next door to each other in New York. According to Lutnick, over a period of roughly 14 years, he recalls meeting Epstein only 2 or 3 times. He also stated that there may have been no more than 10 emails exchanged between them during that entire period. "I did not have any relationship with him," Lutnick told the committee. But Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland, the subcommittee's ranking Democrat, challenged Lutnick's previous public statements. Van Hollen emphasized that there is no evidence suggesting Lutnick personally engaged in criminal behavior with Epstein. Instead, he argued that the concern lies in the discrepancy between Lutnick's earlier claims and the documentary record. "You misled the country and the Congress by suggesting you had cut off all contact," Van Hollen said, when in fact, you had not. When questioned about his visit to Epstein's private island, Lutnick said he observed nothing inappropriate. He testified that he was accompanied by his wife and children, as well as another family, and that the only people he encountered were members of Epstein's staff. Van Hollen then asked whether Lutnick would commit to providing Congress with his own records related to Epstein to ensure the public file is complete. Lutnick responded that he was open to discussing the matter and insisted he had nothing to hide. The exchange underscores how the release of Epstein-related documents continues to generate scrutiny, not only over criminal conduct, but over transparency, credibility, and public trust among powerful figures. As lawmakers push for fuller disclosure, questions remain about whether additional records could further clarify the extent of Epstein's connections, and whether other past statements will face similar examination. The Epstein case may be years old, but the questions it raises are far from over. As more documents are reviewed and lawmakers push for transparency, the focus remains on accountability, public trust, and the truth behind official statements. For continuing coverage on this and other major U.S. political developments, subscribe to USA News Update and stay informed with facts, not noise. Thanks for watching.